Hello, my name is Rick Green, and I'm the editor of the Meadville Tribune, and with me is reporter Mike Crowley. We'd like to thank you for joining us with our Meet the Candidate session. Today we're with Mary Moody, who's running for one of the seats on Meadville City Council. We'll first turn it over to Ms. Moody for an introduction or opening statement.
Well, hello everyone. I am Mary Moody. I am a native of Meadville, born and raised, and I am running for City Council because I just want to be an advocate for the people of the city. And I want to see the city continue to grow and thrive to the best of its ability, and see the people as a whole be a part of the community and feel a part of the community. And that's my main desire for running for City Council, and to see the diversity of our community be represented in every area.
First question, how would you evaluate City Council's performance over the last 4 years?
Over the last 4 years, I believe that City Council is making wonderful strides. I see one of the biggest things that I love about this City Council administration is the open governance. Growing up here, it has never been something like that where you can just go and talk to all the City Council members and as a community member actually feel a part. And I believe that this council at this time, they're making that happen. They're allowing the people to feel heard. They're allowing the people to feel a part of its community, that they have a say of what goes, and they have a say of how they are supposed to live and how they are allowed to live in the community that they participate in. And that is one of my greatest loves about the City Council, and one of the reasons why I want to run, because I want to be a part of that open governance. I want to be a part of being with a group of people that represent the city as a whole.
If you're elected, what would be your top priorities for the next 4 years?
Well, number one is still the safe and affordable housing. I believe that the Housing Action Plan is a wonderful plan. And as a matter of fact, we were just talking to someone about that. And I was saying most of the time when they hear Housing Action Plan, they think that, oh, we only want to help the poor. But it's not really just about the poor. It's about making sure that everybody has safe and affordable housing, and that everyone is comfortable, that everyone has their basic needs met in the community. And so we want to kind of push, I want to kind of push that everyone is included. It's not just, oh, we're out to only help the poor. We want to help everybody with taxes, to make sure you're not paying unfair taxes, to make sure that things are being done the right way for each individual in the community. And as well, as far as my profession, I am an independent consultant at this time, and a trauma practitioner and a recovery coach. I see that there is a lot of unhoused individuals, and a lot of individuals that are suffering with substance abuse and mental illness that are being unaddressed and kind of being pushed to the side. And I think that they started the process by incorporating the crisis intervention with the police department, but I think it could be expanded. I think we could grow more in that area, because that population is growing larger and it is starting to become a visible problem. My entire life living here and then leaving and coming back, I've never seen people sleep in the Diamond Park in my life. And I was amazed by that. I was heartbroken by it, actually, because one thing that I know that this city took pride in was making sure everyone in the city had somewhere to go. Even if it was sleeping on family members' couches or things like that, finding spaces. But now we see a lot of young people sleeping on the streets, literally waiting for time to go and just hang out in the Diamond Park, or walking around all day until they can find somewhere to go to sleep. And I believe that we are a community that works well together, and we are a small enough community to be able to make something happen for that population.
All right.
Okay, what specific strategies would you pursue to attract and retain businesses in Meadville while also supporting small local entrepreneurs?
The strategies that we have in play right now and that we have really been talking about is really just getting Meadville noticed And so with the continuing and building the green spaces and bringing attraction to the city and to the small businesses and continuing to support those individuals that help with small businesses like the Chamber of Commerce and the Small Business Bureau and things like that, continuing to support them and allowing them to bring people in and recognizing the talent that we have in the city and training those that desire to have businesses and teaching them how to budget and how to start a business and things like that to be able to uplift and build our community. We want to be able to draw from what we have and teach those that we have in our community. And I'm a big believer of each one teach one and building and increasing what the wealth that you have in front of you. And I think it's very important to draw from those that desire to have small businesses and then train them how to run them.
You mentioned earlier about housing. You're aware of the challenges of affordable and quality housing. Are there any additional steps that you would like to see council take if you get elected? Just continue what they're doing?
I want to see the continuation of it. I also want to see it being pushed forward a little bit more. I know it has been other things that have been put in place, like the housing inspection and things like that, and those are doing very well. But also dealing with the homes that you see, that's something as well when I came back that I never seen before. A lot of houses that are in blight, a lot of houses that are abandoned and just left. I believe that should be a focus, to focus on that and start from there. But we all know that it takes money to do that, and finding ways and avenues to get the funding that's needed to be able to manage those properties and also put some property on all the empty land of the houses that have been torn down.
You also mentioned the Housing Action Plan earlier. And I think the goal there, one of the goals there, is to add 50 units of affordable housing by 2028. Where does this fit into your priorities, and are there any other things the city should be doing to achieve it, or should that not be
that
the goal?
fits for me. I was really excited when I started learning about the Housing Action Plan. I think it will be wonderful for everyone in the community because, one, we need to increase our home ownership in this area because we do have a lot of renters, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that do want to own their own homes. And in the process, I believe that education is what is most important, by educating those in how to get their credit and budget and do everything that they need to do to be able to sustain and owning a house. It's all a process, and it takes time to build. And especially with everything that's going on right now, the freezing of funds and all those, we have to work hard and find ways to find the money to be able to do this and to be able to, I know that they have a process of doing the land banking and all those different things now. I'm just looking to add what I have learned and what I know to what's going on and to increase it over time to see those in home ownership in different areas of this community. I hope I answered your question. Okay.
Consistent theme from residents and business owners has been parking. I know the parking garage has dominated talk last couple months, and it looks like they're on their way to selling that. But I guess there's a general idea that parking needs to be expanded downtown and become cheaper. Do you agree with that? Do you see a way to expand parking?
Well, I know for the residents downtown, most people who are residents downtown choose to live downtown because they prefer to walk. So a lot of it has to do with business owners and commerce. And so there's only one main parking lot, and that is the downtown mall. And so I do see that there are parking issues, but coming from living in bigger cities and things like that, our parking is very cheap. To be honest, it's actually very, very cheap for our parking at this time. I don't see a need for an increase, but I believe that it is doing the best, and they are doing the best that they can possibly do to supply the parking that's needed. I know that there are a few empty buildings down there, and that's a process in itself to find the ownership and to be able to work that out, to figure out what's going to happen with those buildings, whether they are going to become parking spaces or not. But I believe that the parking is in the process and working to do what it needs to do for the city. And plus, by losing the other parking garage, we did lose a lot of parking space. And so it is hard. But being born and raised here, there is nothing in the city of Meadville that is less or more than a 10-minute walk. And I think that brings about a healthier generation. Let's get out there and get on our feet. I don't believe it takes any longer than 10 minutes to get from one end to the other of town. 10 to 15 minutes.
A lot of the concern comes from some of the older people who live in Meadville and feel like they're not able to
have the parking that they need.
Take a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, the parking that they need. I know that I've noticed myself personally, there is not a lot of handicap parking. There is not a lot of handicap accessibility. Downtown, I would love to see that grow. I would love to see them put a little bit more attention into that for the elderly.
How do you plan to work with Crawford County, some of the larger local nonprofits like the college or the hospital, to strengthen community partnerships and address some of the challenges that face both the city and these organizations?
I think with that, it takes choosing and finding your local leadership, finding individuals who are leaders that are in the community to be able to connect these different nonprofit organizations to continue to build on and educate and grow those that are growing in the community, especially with our younger generation. I'm a stickler on believing that we need to start young, teaching our young people, and that goes back to some of the things that is a lost art, as far as the Big Brother, Big Sister program, and all those different things. I believe those are lost arts. And having community centers where young people can come and grow and learn different things and different trades. I remember all those things when I was younger. We had all those things here, and it just kind of, I think, disappeared just because people were tired. They work, and it's really hard to find community volunteers to care and to pour back in. And so that, I believe, is the gap between the organizations and the nonprofit organizations to bring back into the community. We need those strong leadership volunteers to be the middle person between those things to get the people to where they need to be and to direct them in the direction to what best fits them.
How do you get the?
It's really actually getting out there. We have to get out there. We have to make our presence known, getting to know people, getting to recognize who would be strong leadership. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. That's kind of how it started for me. In running for city council, I was interested in working in the community, interested in gathering people together, and this just happened to be something that just kind of fell this way. I began doing community and things like that through ministry. And my husband and I we had just moved back, but he had passed away right before we moved back. But I continued because I feel like it is very important to get out there in the community. I feel like it's very important to involve everyone, because if we don't care, no one else is going to care. And I grew up with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I grew up with the community centers. I grew up where we could walk right into the probation offices and sit down and talk, even if we weren't on it, because they cared about the young people. And I believe that's where it starts. When we begin to focus on our younger generation, which I'm kind of excited about, the public parks programs, those should be expanded. I remember there was a park program at every school when I was younger. Every school, every summer had a park program where the kids can come, we can learn and grow and learn different things. And as we grow older, learn different trades, and that we can get a job and work. I haven't seen any of those things lately, and those are some of the things that I would like to see back in working with the community.
A couple of years ago, the city filed a lawsuit against the county to force a reassessment of property taxes. It's still making its way through the court system. Where do you stand on the city doing that? And then do you think a reassessment will bring in more additional tax revenue, or where do you think that will work out for the city?
I pray that it works out well for the city, but I also pray that it works out well for the people. I feel that some people are paying more than they should be, and I feel that some people aren't paying what they should be paying. So I could say you're never going to please everyone, but the best thing to do is to try to do what's best for the community and as a whole. As we know that Meadville is and has a large amount of buildings that are historical buildings where they don't pay taxes, where we don't get any revenue from that. And my own personal opinion, I just don't think it's fair for some of those who are and who have worked their entire lives and are now elderly and work on and have fixed incomes to pay those extra property taxes for those. They've worked really hard their entire lives, and then now to struggle to have to pay property taxes. I feel it's unfair.
Do you think that the city needs to work more with some of the nonprofits like Allegheny College, the hospital, to contribute more in terms of payments in lieu of taxes?
I would have to say that I am not 100% for or against. Can I say that? Simply because I'm still learning this. And the more I learn and the deeper I get into it, I would have a better informed answer. But as far as a personal opinion, I would say I think that everybody should pay their due. Everyone, if you are making more money and you can support your community, I feel like you should.
Okay.
All right. How about the issue of Meadville staying safe and being a welcoming community while also fostering trust between residents and law enforcement? What kind of approach should City Council take to ensuring that there's that trust?
I think they're
between
taking
residents?
steps. I mean, it's small steps, but as I said before, all things are a process, and we wish in a natural world, in a utopia, that everything would change overnight, but it doesn't, and they are in the process of doing the things that they need to do. I love the fact that they incorporated the crisis intervention specialist. I think that in itself should expand. That's something that I have noticed in this area, that mental illness and substance abuse and things like that are some things that are kind of left by the wayside and are kind of ignored a little bit, but that is one of the biggest issues that we are struggling with right now in the city, in having the crisis intervention during the times, and then also being trained in trauma. I believe is something that the entire police department should be trained in, just because we are not dealing with people now who know how to properly regulate. I can say it that way. We deal with a lot of people who are in a constant survival mode, and so they don't know how to not respond, or know how, when they are encountered with police officers because of the rise in mental health issues, to process that sometimes, and they need a different approach. And sometimes it takes just by being trauma informed and being aware as an officer, not only of the individual that you're dealing with, but also of your own feelings and your own emotions, and how you respond to what's going on in front of you, to learn how to de-escalate and things like that. I think that takes training. I think it takes the willingness to be open-minded, and also to be trained in diversity, because not all things that look aggressive are aggressive. Not all things that look aggravated are actually aggravated. I know I had a young lady who I was talking to in one of my counseling sessions. She was telling me, I didn't even realize that I had gotten arrested until 3 days later. And so when we're dealing with things like that, and which that is most of the time some of the hardest things that we run into, the domestic violence, people are not thinking cognitively. and to have that crisis intervention portion with someone who actually knows how to de-escalate, actually with someone who knows how to be able to get that person to refocus and regulate, to be able to cognitively think the right way, and then deal with the issue. I think that's the best approach, and that comes with training and educating and having what I would call mindfulness and learning and understanding your triggers as an officer, because we are all human and we all have triggers that cause us to react, even though we don't necessarily want to. But when we learn how to deal with those triggers and we learn what those triggers are, we learn how to approach people differently.
Okay. This summer, Meadville received some national attention when a video of a violent arrest by the police department went viral. What's your position on how the incident was handled, and what steps should be taken to ensure effective civilian oversight of the department?
I believe how it was handled the way that the police department was trained to handle it. As a community, do we agree? No. Nobody wants to see someone manhandled in that way, not even by an officer. But we also don't want to see our officers manhandled. And that goes back to the previous answer that I gave. We really need to be trauma informed. We really need to have an understanding what it looks like with an individual who is under the influence of substance abuse. Are they able to cognitively respond to you or not? Are they able to cognitively do what you are asking them to do? We all know that substances take you out of your own mind. Most people we see who are addicted to substances are some of the nicest people that you've ever met. But in that state, they cannot cognitively respond the way you want them to respond. And so we have to learn how to navigate and then deal with the issue after that individual has come back to their rightful cognitive state.
Okay.
Hey, anything about that incident that should have been done differently, or?
I can say this, I heard about it. I did not watch it. I did not want to see it because substance abuse and mental illness is something that's near and dear to my heart. I would view it differently. So I refrained from watching it. I've heard a lot of things about what happened. I have personally myself seen meltdowns and outbursts, but it's all about your approach and how you handle it. And I would say what was going on before, like we don't know the full story. We don't know everything that happened and how it all took place. From what I heard, because I did not see it, that, it was 90 degrees outside. And I heard he didn't have a shirt on. So we have to cognitively think, is his skin burning? Why you want him to get down on the ground? Those are the things that we have to think about, even though we want to make sure everybody is safe. But you also want to make sure that that individual is safe as well. And we are not causing more harm than good.
Okay, those are the questions we have. We'll let Ms. Moody finish with a closing statement or issue that she'd like to talk about that maybe we didn't ask about.
I just vote on November 4th. I'm hoping and excited to be a part of City Council, but I know the questions that have been asked of me is what will happen if I don't. The same things. Because I still fight for the same things. I still fight for my community. I still work for my community. The only difference is I pray that I would have a better influence by being a part of City Council. And so all I can say is vote November 4th, the best way that you know how. And I hope that it's me.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for our viewers out there. And we'd like to remind everyone to vote on November 4th. And you can watch all of our candidate interviews on our website, meadvilletribune.com, or on our YouTube channel at Meadville Tribune Media. Thank you.